All right, welcome back to Backstage with OSO. This week is episode 15. Myself, Andrew, and today, special guest, my good friend Kye Grant.
Woohoo!
Welcome.
How are you, Kye?
Oh, mate, stoked. I'm actually very blown away at how quickly you guys set this whole thing up.
All right, so
It's the slight dig.
so if you haven't met Kye before, he is one of the nicest humans I know and also the biggest smartass I've ever met. So
Both true.
yeah.
Well, definitely the first one.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the nicest humans I know. And he makes dope music too, which is good. So if you don't know Kye Grant, give us a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from and how did you get from... I basically want to know, because I know a lot about you, so it's going to be hard for me to question a lot because I already know the answers. So let's start from high school. Were you studying music in high school? And then you just push me forward to wherever you want to go from there.
Oh, I like this. It's like a little recap.
Yeah, it's a little recap, a little highlight reel.
No, talking shit aside, stoked to be on the podcast, boys. Love what you guys are doing.
Thanks, bro. It did take us an hour to set up, by the way. But
I
technically
we got there in the end as well.
Yeah, we had coffee.
Give or take, more so take. But hey, no, I am genuinely stoked to be here. I love what you guys are doing. Yeah, high school. I'll try and do these parts quickly. Yeah,
Yep.
Always loved music. Kind of fell into DJing more so in high school. Just as like we sort of got more into parties and stuff. Like as my kind of cohort on my year level was, and it just seemed like an easy social in to be the DJ guy.
Were you the DJ at these house parties?
Yeah, well, one of the guys in the older grade, Tom, was.
Yeah.
And so it was like and still one of my good mates, does all my visuals, and he was
Shout out Tom Scott.
he was playing all of like the parties, and I sort of was like, damn, like that seems like such an easy way to like just like get invited to these parties. So I was like, I'm probably not cool enough to get in, but if I be the DJ guy, that's like my back door.
It's the end.
And I'm still milking that to this day.
Well, it's working, man. So
It is.
nice shit.
It is. But yeah, so, and then I think it was through that I sort of found my love for dance music.
Yep.
And, you know, from there, that's sort of where the desire to, okay, cool, playing these parties is great, but the artists that I'm playing, they have these crazy careers that I was starting to learn more about. And I was like, wow, like I want to know more about Calvin Harris. I want to know more about Martin Garrix and these different people. And that led me down the path of, okay, I want to make music.
Yeah.
I don't know how you even do that at this point in time.
Because this is around the same period that like Martin Garrix, Animals and stuff like that. Is that what was big then? Or
Yeah.
like I know you're an alti scene,
No,
but
like funny piece of trivia. Me and Martin Garrix actually have the exact same date of birth. Same year as well.
Really?
14th of May, 1996. Crazy. I'm obviously a little bit ahead in my career. But
I wasn't going to draw the contrast, but yeah, sure.
but I think he'll catch up. It's early days. But yes, so yeah, that was definitely, it was that like kind of prog house EDM stuff that was like those Ministry of Sound.
Still big
annual
now, isn't it? Prog
compilations.
house? Like,
I think there are some people making
People
it.
still trying to do it.
Yeah, I don't know any personally.
Oh my God.
No, yes, but
Yeah.
that sort of like, that was definitely like what everyone wanted to make and play. So I was like, I feel like I've been looking at Jake so much. I need to look at Andy too.
Yeah.
Andy, ladies and gentlemen. And so yeah, I was like, okay, great. I want to do this, but at that point in time, can I swear?
Yeah, sure.
I was like, how the fuck do you make these songs? Like, okay, there's this software called Ableton, but I don't actually know what the fuck. And then you obviously you start tinkering around with shit on like a cracked version. You're like, oh damn, this is a lot freaking harder.
Than it looks.
It looks.
Yeah, and
then
DJing.
I thought it would be. I was like, I didn't think it would be easy, but I didn't think it would be anywhere near as hard as what it was, especially in those like early kind of days. But from there, you know, sunk into that, gradually got better over that period of time. And
so
then,
in that period of time, were you studying music? Like, were you, like, because I know you're a very musically talented person
I
but...
had played piano my kind of whole life, but I'd sort of given that up around maybe year 10 because I was like, you know, like it was great and I enjoyed doing it and, you know, I was okay at it, did like my AMEB exams and stuff, but I wasn't going to have a career in it. So I kind of got to that point where I was like, okay, you know, whatever. I'd rather DJ parties.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't studying music so much until maybe a year after school. I ended up once I'd been making music for a while and I worked really hard to get a portfolio together. which at the time I thought was amazing. Looking back now, would probably sound terrible, but fortunately it was good enough that I got into Bachelor of Music at QUT.
Epic.
Which was great. Like that kind of period of my life was a very difficult period academically in that I hadn't had the high school music background.
Yeah.
Which meant that
And you're going up against a lot of people that have studied this for the last...
100%. You know, and it wasn't just like I was with producers, right? I was with the guitar players and the piano players and the singers and the people that had just done the theory. So it was, I had to learn a lot very quickly. And it definitely felt like the whole time I felt like I was just swimming upstream.
Yeah.
And there were definitely moments where I was just like, bro, like this is so fucking hard. Don't even need any of this, or I don't want to learn this, or I just simply can't figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
So it definitely was a bit more of a slog. It wasn't like I got to uni and everything was amazing and I made all these friends and...
No, you had to
these hits.
work for it.
It was like, honestly, like the music I was writing wasn't that good. I felt like I was probably the worst in my cohort, which... you know, was probably disheartening more than anything. And it's not until probably now that I look back and go, man, I'm so glad that I did that. But at that point in time, I was just like, I just want to go home to the Gold Coast. And because I was driving
You're
to
in
Brisbane.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really have any friends. I like, lovely people in my course, but there's no one I was super close with because like I didn't live up there and I felt like everyone, like, you know, I was like a bit of like an outcast, right?
I can't imagine many people were wanting to make dance music in that class, were they?
No, there was me and Tom, who I spoke about before. By coincidence, we ended up in the same uni course.
Yeah.
I think it was just us two that were making dance music, and then there was one or two other producers that were making maybe different genres, like more band sort of stuff, or more like maybe pop stuff.
Sorry, bro, could I just get you to tilt the mic?
Yeah,
Sorry, chop that bit out.
we're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I thought it was like the vocal mics. That's why I was going for the sides. That's what I'm used to talking. That's okay. Like we're
it's
all
just
learning.
it just picks it up.
In the beginning, if that's weird.
So basically, I'm kind of So there wasn't, which again felt like everyone was in bands and they were starting to release albums and play these shows and everything else. And I was like,
You feel like you're lacking.
yeah, definitely. That being said, there were some great producers in my course. Moss, who you guys would know of, he was the grade above us.
Yeah, Sabretooth that came
and
out
then
recently.
another dude,
Banger.
Fecky, was 2 years above us. So definitely looking up to like those two guys.
Yep.
Was dope because I was like, especially like when I was in uni, this guy Fecky like had songs being played on Triple J.
Yep.
And that was like, damn, like that's so sick. Like there's this, and he was getting a bit of buzz and people were talking about it.
Yep.
And that's sort of what put into my head, okay, like I want to make stuff that like could be on Triple J, which I guess leads us to like the next sort of era, which is like my first EP, which was the Everything one, which is like the really chill stuff.
Yeah. I know Andy's a massive fan of that one.
I am actually.
He brings it up at every
I bought
point.
it and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Support
wow.
from day one.
Yeah.
I bought some socks, but I never got them.
Yeah.
No, that's on me. I had to go collect them. I never did, but I have a good feeling that I'm going to get them today.
Yeah, so on that note, we do have a bunch of merch if you want to support the podcast.
And you could buy my music, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't because who fuck buys music these days?
Whoa. For anyone listening to the audio, we nearly just lost everything here.
No, we're sweet.
I think it's my foot was holding it up, so I can just keep it there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, bro.
I'll charge extra for that.
Yeah, thanks. man.
I guess, I don't know, what do you want to know next?
Yeah, no, that's interesting because, like, I guess I feel like I've been very close to the project. I've known you, I don't know, like
A little
7
too
years?
close.
Yeah. So I guess like I've watched your progression, and I guess a lot of like listeners and a lot of people that probably don't understand the story behind like how you go from like, okay, I did this uni course to I'm not actually releasing yet, or I'm not achieving these things yet.
Sure.
How do you go from that to, hey, shit, we just got played on Triple J? Like, obviously there's a lot of time behind the scenes in everything that you're doing, and you're putting it all in. And I think you have one of the like best established brands that I know, like out of, a lot of people in Australia. Like it's very like authentic to yourself, which is
Sure.
really good.
Yeah.
So I guess like my question is more so, not a question, but how would you explain the process of how you positioned yourself in a way that you're like, okay, this is the music I make, Was it naturally aligning that to your personality as the brand thing? Because
Sure, yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of dope producers, but there's not a lot of dope personalities. Like you
Of
can't
course, yeah, and
put the music to a person.
oftentimes, you get one without the other.
Yeah, definitely.
I think people naturally tend to lean towards either their, the really funny dude, i.e., say your Fisher, who's absolutely hilarious, or hey, I'm this incredible, and I'm not speaking me personally.
Yeah.
I'm this crazy good producer, but I live in my bedroom 24/7, and it's often one without the other.
Yeah, it's a hard
Frankly,
balance.
in my own head, I don't feel like I've nailed either, but I think it's just a constant effort of working towards. Yeah, you're right. The way I do see it is the overall brand and the project as a whole, and that's something that I've always loved. The narrative behind a brand. It's something I've always been very, very interested in, probably my whole life, and it's probably, to be honest, one of my biggest strengths. Maybe even beyond the stuff that I'm probably known for.
It's very, very like you have a very set theme. If you don't already follow Kye, it's Kye Grant on Instagram. Check it out. I know he
You
has.
probably do.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah. See, this is Kye in the most natural form. So thank you for being your true self today, because I love it, man. It's very sarcastic, but at the same time,
They made me
also
drink
following.
like 10 beers before this just to get this out of me. So totally kidding. We had a coffee. It's like 11 a.m. Well, it would have been 11 a.m. if we
If we're on
started.
time, yeah.
But it's it's 3 p.m. now.
As you can see, we take this very seriously here.
Yeah, I'm very nervous right now. No, it's great. And honestly, guys, it is awesome, like, to be able to sit down and talk how I would talk exactly the same if we were having coffee downstairs.
No.
And that's awesome. And it's great that you guys have facilitated an environment that I can do that and not sit here like it's a radio interview and go,
that's good, 'cause
I'm
I
so
wouldn't want
thankful for
that.
everybody for the support. Like, you've heard that a million times.
Yeah.
You already know that that's true. Of course I'm grateful. Of course I'm thankful. Of course I'm sincere and everything else. But like in reality, like, it's nice to be able to be myself and
Like, let your personality actually shine through.
of course. Yeah. And look, tying that back to what we're talking about, that's something I've tried to achieve with my brand. I don't think I've perfected it yet, but it's definitely something I'm constantly striving towards. And obviously right now it's the rose and it's the color, it's those purple colors, and it's the sort of moody aesthetic and the text and everything that's sort of tied together. And that's something that a lot of time using like Pinterest and creating like mood boards and
So that's kind of your inspiration at the moment, is like, because it looks like, if you look at your feed, it does look like a mood board. Like it's well done, and like I definitely commend you on that, because it's something I look at a lot.
Yeah.
I sometimes get too fixated on that though, and I'll be
it's
like,
funny. I probably do as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like you almost don't want to post or you don't want to do something because it doesn't perfectly align. And that's look, I'm trying to get the balance right. It obviously goes between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it was creating a brand and a narrative and a story that I felt truly embodied me, or embodied how I wanted to be as an artist.
Yep.
And I think, to be honest, the final piece of the puzzle for that was perfecting the music in a sense that it wasn't too chill, that like I made some great chill songs, but then I'd go and play a DJ set and the people would come for the chill songs and I'd want to play heavy stuff, and vice versa. The people that came to a DJ set and heard the heavy stuff would then go onto my Spotify and hear chill songs. And it was this massive disconnect. And that took a lot of time because honestly, the music I like is so diverse that I was like, I like this, but I also like this. And I want to play hype sets, but I also want to make chill music that you can listen to when you're having a picnic on Burley Hill. And it was very difficult to be like, okay, there's all these interests and there's all these things. And obviously it goes very close to like surf and skate culture because that's sort of my background. And I live in Burley and it's a very big part of my life. And so that's why I think finding this genre now, this bass music that's not too heavy and not too distant from my personality, but that it's hype enough that it reflects that side of me.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and I think you've like tested the waters well. Like there was Run It Up, which was a dope record in itself, and it was. Would you say that's on the heavier side of where you're going?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny, like those releases from last year. That was me going, you know what, heavy music. Like I almost made like a compromise with myself, and I was like, I feel split between these two things. I need to pick one. I'm going to pick the heavy thing and I'm going to double down.
Yep.
I love the song Run It Up. It's probably my favorite. But I think some of the other records, and I feel like I can say this honestly, they didn't resonate that well with people because I don't think they felt authentic because people didn't go, oh, that's the personality of Kye that we know. That's the person we see depicted on Instagram. That's not the fun character that we see that's having a laugh and buzzing around and everything else.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit this dark aesthetic.
Yeah.
The visuals, the reds. I'm really proud of that era, but I think the next evolution for that was, look, it was so close, but it was off by 1 degree, and I honestly believe that people felt that.
Yeah.
So now it's like finding this more, I hate saying future-based, but I guess we'll say futuristic-based music.
Yep.
That's far closer to my character, my personality.
Yeah.
That's like cool. Like I feel like it embodies everything really nicely that as you guys heard on the weekend, like with my show, like the DJ set matched the originals I was playing, matched the Instagram aesthetic, matched how I dressed, matched the crazy nails that I have. They're like all painted different colors for people at home. They're pretty cool. I got an American flag on one. I got a love heart. You can check it out on my Insta.
I like it though. This is one characteristic I really like of you is that you fucking own whatever you do. You're like, all right, I'm doing this, and like I'm a very self-conscious person. So if I was to be like, oh shit, I'm gonna change this fashion, I'm gonna dress this way, whereas you're like, hey, I got my nails done, and I've heard people talk shit like to you and be like, say like smart ass things about painting your nails.
There are guys, especially outside of the music world, that are like cannot comprehend the idea that I paint my nails. That literally think my sexuality changed due to the paint on my nails. I don't know if that's possible, but it's not the case.
Because like that's pretty much what, like, you own your thing, and I think you're truly becoming into your authentic self, which is fucking sick.
It's funny. I do feel that way in my personal life at the moment. And I think that is a product of trial and error over an extended period of time. Doing genuine work on what are my core values, what's important to me, what gets me out of bed every day, like what are the things that I'm like, that's important to me, that's a value to me. And that took a lot of time, especially during the whole COVID period where everyone felt a bit lost. Fuck, most of us probably still do, myself included, right? No one knows are we going back into lockdown, not lockdown, or the international, like, no one fucking knows. People that think they know are just fucking guessing or lying. So it's like, I feel as though I had to do a lot of work during that time, which I'm definitely still doing.
I can definitely see the self-growth in just knowing you over this last...
But I think the way you described it, like feeling like I'm, fitting into myself better is how I have like thought of it myself, and that's something that I'm like pretty fucking stoked on, to be honest.
I think you're on the cusp of something like crazy, man. Like, I think this is where people have them breakthroughs, is like, when they're just being them genuine self, and then it's like,
fuck, I hope so, mate.
You got this far, bro, so you might as well, man. So show on the weekend, man. We went to Nightcap in Nobbies. Sold out ticketed show.
Bang.
How did that feel?
Pretty great.
Great.
I'm obviously stoked. It was a bit scary with like COVID. Like, it's scary enough doing a show not in COVID times, let alone like, obviously we had the original date booked, then the lockdowns like 3 days before it got postponed. A lot of tickets got refunded. They closed the border. A lot of my New South Wales friends couldn't come, and that was really hard seeing. I'd basically sold it out the first time, or almost, and then losing a bunch of tickets and being like, damn, now I'm like, it's not only postponed, but I've also just gone backwards in tickets. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a head fuck, to be honest.
Oh, bro. But, overall, absolutely stoked. Very grateful that so many people came out, so many of my friends and family.
It was a dope event, man. Like, I genuinely enjoyed myself. Like, it was really good.
Been the general reports. And look, I think running anything like that, you're going to be critical of yourself. The easiest way I can explain it to non-music people that might be listening right now is if you've ever hosted a party at your house and everyone's having fun, but you're stressed because someone doesn't look happy, and is someone going to break those glasses, and oh God, those two people don't like each other, whatever else.
That's actually a really good analogy of what this is, to be honest.
That's kind of that's how I explain it to my non-music friends. It feels a lot like that. And whilst everyone's like, oh my gosh, best party ever. And I'm like, was it? Like, I spent the whole time in the kitchen, like, making sure there was enough spring rolls.
Dial the oven in.
I like how much you've dived into this analogy. It's fantastic.
We're all in there. That's how it kind of feels. Obviously, in this analogy, that's being on stage, where it's like, people can be like, that was amazing, that was great. And I'm like, was it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm stoked with it. I'm freaking so amazed. I sold all the tickets. So amazed looking out, seeing people, and I was like, wow, like these people spent real Australian dollars to
come see it.
freaking be here.
So, quick reflections on it. Is there any takeaways from that you're like, okay, I know this for the next event now. This is what I would structure differently, or you're like, you know what? That was how I ran.
Look, overall, I think for what it was, I'll write it down as a win. So nothing drastic. There's always small things, things within myself that how I might have performed differently.
Yep.
Perhaps the space. I didn't think of things. I'm so used to playing in clubs, similar to both of you, where it's like I didn't think of smoke or lights and things that. For me, I'm like, I just think
like
in my
given,
head, oh, they're already there, but I didn't. Those slipped my mind, and that definitely would have increased. I didn't allow for the fact that with the hard border closure, a lot of the people that bought tickets actually lived in the Tweed to Kingscliff area. Oh, yeah. So there was, whilst it was sold out, there was people that like physically couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I can't change any of those things.
No.
And overall, I'm putting it down as a win, and I'm super stoked and
hell yeah, man.
Grateful and ready to move on to the next thing. Awesome.
So on that note, sell out your first show. Not many people. So for those that are listening that don't know where we currently are, we're on the Gold Coast, Australia. Not many DJs in Australia, let alone the Gold Coast, can sell out a show.
Yeah, it's obviously you see people play clubs, which is what I've always done previously, and that's financially far better.
It's less stressful.
It's on paper it looks better in so many ways. Because obviously to explain it to people that might not know, it's you go to a venue that has a crowd that goes there for perhaps the music. They rock up. They know there's going to be a good act, but they don't necessarily know you. The club books you. They pay you a guarantee, so you might get X amount of dollars to play that set, and regardless of what happens, you walk away with your X amount of dollars.
So that's for like general nightclubs.
Sure.
Bars.
Which every artist you can think of does those shows, right? Every DJ. Then there are the ticketed shows where artists of any size can do, which is where you hire the space and then you run the night and you take the door. Obviously, I had the help of like my management team, Matt and Chris Stafford through Jack Management, who helped significantly with all of that process. But you take on the responsibility. So if only 2 people come, you could potentially lose money if you've hired the space, or at least you're only making those 2 tickets worth of money, and you're looking out to a crowd of 2 people.
Luckily we didn't have to face that.
Which is a scary thought.
Yes, and I don't want to ever be in that situation. So it was like, okay, I have to there's a lot more pressure. And
join some community groups, invite some more people. No, I'm just fucking with you.
You got it.
No, just playing.
Yeah, I made a lot more friends. Bro, it's been so long. No. Didn't have to do any of that, which is actually my favourite part. And watching people I'd never met buy tickets was honestly one of the best feelings in the world, because it was really great seeing my friends and my family. I expected you guys to buy tickets. Seeing people I'd never met, and even getting messages of support from people being like, wow, I loved your song, so I bought a ticket, meeting them on the night.
Yeah, that's it.
See, that's cool.
That's what it's all about. I'm stoked with that, and I'm very, very happy.
So where do you go from here? Where's the next? Not obviously, it's easy to say in 10 years where you want to be, but like, where's the next immediate goal?
Right now, the bathroom. I really have to pee.
Okay. All right, we will be back in 2 seconds. Yeah. All right, we're back. Kye's back. He's
back.
refreshed.
I feel so much better.
Yeah.
11 out of 10.
Anyway, so yeah, to jump straight back in, essentially where we left off was just asking Kye, where do you want, like, where's your next immediate goal? Not necessarily massive 10 years down, but like, where do you want to achieve next?
So much harder, right? Like it's really easy to go, oh, here's my end goal. We all want to be Martin Garrix.
Yeah.
But having more immediate goals is it's funny. Something I was actually thinking about this morning. I would say next for me is probably my next single. I'm really, really proud of this one, and I really think we're talking to some pretty big labels at the moment in America. So I'm really hoping that that won't be released too far into the future.
Yeah.
So definitely prioritizing that, and then looking to move over to the States with Matt and Chris next year.
Epic.
Which should be amazing. Obviously, there's a number of variables that need to.
And a number of variants as well, like Delta. What else we got? We got a few
Thanks,
more.
man.
Yeah. No worries, bro. This is a comedy show now.
Yeah, literally. But you're not wrong. So, and that's why it's like, obviously in these times, and also just the nature of the music industry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it like it's a sad thing, but that's definitely what we have our calls every week with our team. And we had ours just before I came here.
Yeah.
7 hours ago. And
During the setup of the podcast.
We ran through what's next, and that's definitely something we've been talking about constantly, which is just getting this music out. Now we've got the content from the shows, and I'll be playing a few more shows. Obviously Lunar Electric in November, which
Nice
Jake,
one.
you're playing at.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Shout out Sean Dunn, the whole Lunar crew.
Yeah,
It's going to be an epic one.
Thank you
that
for
one.
warming it up for me, Jake.
Yeah.
And then
I thought you were just going to skim over it, bro,
too easy not to. And then obviously Cali Beach Club opening, which
Cali Beach Club.
I'll be playing at the opening next week with the Stafford boys, which is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I've also got some nights there, which I'm very excited for. I don't know what I am or not allowed to say, so I'll keep it there on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some great things coming up gig wise in Oz. And then, looking to head over. I think spring break time was the goal that Matt and Chris had last mentioned. But look.
Epic.
Anything can happen at this point. Could be sooner, could be later. Right now, I'm just focused on making the best music I can, playing the best shows that I can, and just making sure I am better than Jake.
I think that's a great mindset to have, but
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
except
pretty
the
much
better
it.
than Jake thing, man. We'll
No.
always compete, but I actually give you credit for that, because like it's good actually surrounding, like, for any other producers out there, surrounding yourself with other goal-orientated people and people that are striving
100%,
towards something.
Yeah.
Like, I talk to Kye and I'm like, all right, this motherfucker, let's go. Like,
And it goes both ways. Exactly. And yeah, jokes aside, it is very important to make sure you have people around you that you obviously trust and admire and that have your best interests at heart, but also that can be honest with you and that can tell you when they're not vibing something, and that can tell you, but also that you can look to and go, damn, maybe they are doing more than me. Or, you know what? Maybe I have been stuck in my bubble and I might have missed where the market's going. So, like, maybe I do need to course correct. And being open to that, I think, is definitely a key to success, because it's so easy to be like, all right, cool. Here's my pathway, because that's what insert whatever famous person you want to be like did.
Yeah.
Or that's what this person told me to do, or whatever. Or that's what I read online, or that's what I heard Kye say in this podcast. Whatever the frick it is. It's like, it's so easy to get stuck on the highway and not realize, hey, things are changing constantly. Like, like, think about pre-COVID, TikTok was hardly even a thing, and now it's defining music genres based on, look how much hip-hop's changed since TikTok. Like, and that's just one example. Things are moving so quickly, and I think they're going to continue to. So it's really important to just be adaptable and be super open-minded. It's all well and good to go, I want to make this genre of music and I want to be like this person. Yeah. But you might find maybe you're better at making something else, or maybe you're good at making that music, but you're no good at playing it. Or when you do play it, there's no market for it, or there's more of a market for this. Obviously, stay true to yourself and stay true to the music you want to make. But I think, honestly, being open-minded and adaptable and changing and bending and just going with the flow is a really good tip, that something I've been caught out by not doing, and something that I would say to people, get that right. Like, be open to changes. Don't be that guy that's bitter because a new genre comes in and everyone's making it. Don't be that guy or girl that's bitter because, you know, everyone's jumping on a TikTok platform or a trend. It's like, look, you can fight it all you want and you can say, oh, it's, you know, I imagine it in the days when CDJs first came out and record players were no, and it's like there are so many people that still to this day are like, oh, that's not really DJing. And I'm like, imagine, where are those people now? You know what I mean?
It's
freaking nowhere.
adapted or just die out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's being adaptable, I think, you know, which is something we're all like, I'm not the master at it. I'm trying to learn every day. I probably, you know, there's so many things that I need to do to get with the times. And it's like, I think, but it's just being open to the changes is definitely some advice that I'd throw in free of charge.
I think actually something that you touched on there was like really good, and it's something that I noticed in my career. I got really stuck. We were making jokes about prog house earlier, but I was so in that lane that I was just like, nah, I love this music. This is what I'm passionate about making. This is what I make. But I didn't adapt with the climate of what was actually popping.
Exactly.
And it was just like, oh shit, now.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you're making prog house. I'm not saying go and make hip hop. I'm just saying, are there, within your genre, are there subgenres that's changing, that people are moving towards, consumers are moving towards, the people that are pioneering your genre is moving towards? Are you going, nope, I'm sticking to this no matter what? And it's like, maybe you only had to change by 1 degree, 2 degree, that gets you to be what sounds new and fresh versus what sounds old. Yeah, it's not a drastic change of like, oh, I was making, which you can do that and that's perfectly fine. Plenty of people do. But it's not going, I was making house, now I'm going to make fucking trap. It's just going, oh, I was making heavier trap, but you know what? Like, maybe this bassy, future bassy stuff is the new school kind of version of it. Maybe that's more popular at the moment, so I'm going to tweak things and then within that, oh, maybe all the saw waves I'm using and the sounds I'm using sounds like 2016 future bass. Dated, so. Okay, cool. How can I change that up? What are the people using? Oh, wow. They're not really doing like, it's not saw wave so much anymore. It's more like this cut up vocal thing that's really distorted. Sweet. How do I do that? I'll learn how to do that. And it's just, it's constantly, oh, that's dated now. Fuck, I'm out. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's figuring out where it's going and making sure that you don't have to be up on every single trend. But I think just being open is probably my key piece of advice.
I reckon, that's probably the breakthrough I had, like, honestly, only in my own career in the last 2 months, was actually just adapting, because I was like, I'm one person that I'll get good at something or decent at something, and then I'll switch because I'm like, okay, I know how to do that. Cool. I'm going to go do this thing now. And I'm very bad at that. But now, like, I feel like music is all coming back, like, around for me. And it's just like, okay, cool. The stuff that I was really into when I started, it's like, there's a platform for it again now, but it's tweaked and it's changed. And and like, I feel like I'm like on path now,
that's
which
what
is really good.
You were saying on the phone yesterday. We talk outside of this. And which, you know, I agree.
It's cool. So
it's you know, it's always sick hearing that when someone has that breakthrough and they're just like, bro, I'm stoked on what I'm doing. Like, to be honest, it's just sick when someone's feeling it, you know? I don't care if someone's like, you know what, bro, now I'm making country. But if they're feeling, I'm like, dude, that's so sick.
dope.
like that's epic. But
I love that.
I think that probably sums up that sort of
Oh, well, to like rewind a little bit. So we talked a little bit about, you know, high school into university, and then now, you know, selling out your first show.
We skipped over a good 5 years of me slaving away in nightclubs.
Yeah. So maybe, do you want to give us a little bit of insight? You know, you've, like, for those people that don't know, Kye, he's played a lot of nightclubs, especially on the Gold Coast, and I'm sure you would have seen all sorts of different things. So do you want to, you know, enlighten us on a few of your experiences and also some key takeaways and things that people can
probably
learn?
Just like, don't drink ever. Don't have late nights. Don't go to the after parties.
After parties are a killer.
Yeah, just no. Yeah, man. Like, I won't butter it. Like, it was a pretty hectic time, both demanding on me, like, physically, because it's like late nights. I'm playing the freaking 2 a.m. set. Prior to that, it was the 3 till 5 a.m. set, which was
don't miss that, dude.
Crazy. Especially in summer, you come out and there's people jogging and you're like, get the fuck out of my way, bro. But you're drunk, so you're like, but you're wasted, you're like, get the fuck out of my way, bro. Where's my Uber?
Now if I see someone in daylight drunk, I'm like, you degenerate.
bro.
What is wrong
No,
with you?
it's like, as long as it's on the first half. Day drinking is sick, but not day drinking after a night.
Yeah. Facts.
Look, man, I learnt a lot. In retrospect, especially, I learnt so much about myself during that time. Like, it's hard. Like, I have so much respect for people that have done it, are still doing it, will do it. Like, it's so much fun. Like, some of the best times of my life, but also some of the worst and some of the hardest times was during that period where I was DJing. I DJed 4 nights a week for 5 years and probably took...
See, that's the
I
grind.
can count the weekends I had off, like, remember them because they were so significant to me. Yeah. Like, there was a point in time I would DJ, like, Thursday night, Friday night. Then I would, like, if I was playing an away show, it would be on a Saturday. So then I would fly to wherever I was playing. Yeah. And that would be, like, my moment. Wow, I'm really stoked with where I am. Yeah. Then I'd fly back and I would still be playing the Sunday because the reality was I wasn't probably making enough money from the away shows once you took out all the travel expenses.
Yeah.
So I still needed the club stuff and I'd made a commitment to do that. So, yeah, it was pretty hectic, especially as those two things started to overlap.
And then, like, keeping in mind, you're doing uni at this time.
I'm doing
as well.
uni at the same time and trying to make
produce
music.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard. Like, probably drank way too much during that time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love a party, love drinking. I think as long as you're doing it safely in moderation, you're not like ruining your life or anyone else's life. I think, it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty hectic cycle.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm pretty stoked I don't have to go and do it again because it was really hard.
Yeah, I think it's very tiring. I don't think people see the sacrifice that goes into this as a career. They see you for that 2 minutes when you're on the stage on Saturday night and they're like, fuck, you got it easy, man.
Sick.
Oh, 100%, bro. The amount of times people that say similar things to me like that. Oh, wow, what day is it? There you
Wednesday?
go. Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you can
hang
out with your mates and do a podcast, and then you just got a few video calls in the morning, and then you'll got to work on some hip hop beats for a rapper this afternoon, and it's like, wow, like what a life. I wish I could do music all day, and it's like, yeah,
it must be nice. That's the comment.
Great,
That's the comment, bro.
And I'm not even at the point now where I could probably go, but it's like it was. Getting to this point was like, it was 4 nights a week, which meant 4 days of the week I was feeling like crap from being up till 5 a.m. That's without even the drinking. Throw that in. Throw like missing meals, missing dinners, missing breakfast, all the bloody toxic. Yeah, it was freaking hard, but it was also the most amazing. It's like I wouldn't change it for anything because I had so much fun and I learned so much about how to DJ. Like, you can put me in any venue now and I'm, when all shit hits the fan, I know how to read it because I've just done it for so long. Yeah. And yeah, I love it. And I still love going out and I still love playing clubs and everything like that. But yeah, I want to sum it up by saying it was a fantastic time. Yeah. I had the most amazing time, but it definitely pushed me and I learned a lot about myself, but I'm so grateful that I did because that's what's made me into the DJ and the artist and even the person that I am today was, doing that.
Yeah, going through it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. No, it's interesting to hear. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's interesting to hear.
I'm like trying to play it so safe, but I think I nailed that.
Yeah, you're good.
No, because not everyone talks about, the negative side of everything. So it's interesting to hear, it's not all fun and games and, whilst the money per hour and that sort of thing may look good to people, it's like they don't see everything.
Yeah, 100%. I could probably earn more money then, but yeah, it was... Yeah, you're right.
And that's the reality of it. And that's why it's so easy to also get stuck in that resonant trap and not move away from it. And I think what was really cool is you made the conscious decision to leave residency.
Yeah, it's that, and that in itself, that's a tough thing, man, because you're walking away from guaranteed money.
And it's like it's easy money. To be honest, like it's pretty easy money. Like residency DJing, like once you've
done it for a long time.
Yeah,
once you've done it for a long time. It's definitely not easy. I think you have to work really freaking hard to be able to, especially on the Gold Coast where there are so many amazing DJs, limited spots, and it's like you're fighting for those good spots. You're fighting for those good pay rates. I think though it's more, once you've done it for a bit, you've gotten comfortable there, you've sort of earned your stripes, after a number of years of doing it, like any job. yeah, it's very difficult to walk away from something that you know you're good at.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't still be there.
Yeah.
You know you're good at.
You enjoy
You
it.
enjoy.
Yeah.
And it earns you freaking good money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, there are people that will tell me I've made the wrong choice, and those people may be right. Like, I'm not even sitting here going, you know, this is the only way to do it, because there's so many different ways. I'll say this. It's what worked for me.
Yeah.
For me, in finding myself as an artist, for my mental state, for my health, for all of those things, it was the right move for me. But it doesn't mean it would be the right move for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, in sort of summary on that sort of chapter of my life, I sort of moved from doing the resident DJ thing to just making music full time, doing the bigger shows as they come. Obviously signed the management deal with Matt and Chris, which has been amazing, and working towards, you know, the bigger goals. But in that, the sacrifice I had to make was I have nowhere near as much money as what I did
It's the
previously.
immediate income sacrifice for the
100%.
long-term game.
And look, I'm here praying it'll pay off, but there's always it's a risk, right?
always
It's,
a
it's like
chance it
anything.
won't,
It's
100%.
risk reward, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm taking a risk, but for me, I knew that was the smartest move, because the quality of music I'm making has improved tenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting a better quality of sleep, probably better routine. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with the decisions I made, and I think, you know, I'm really ready to I've taken things sort of the next level with doing my first show and everything, but now I'm ready to sort of take them to the next level again, and I'm super excited to watching everything sort of just come to fruition.
It's awesome, man.
No, it's awesome. Yeah.
I'm really keen to see where everything goes. Like, I've been watching I feel like I've known you for so long, but like I didn't know much about you, if that makes sense. Like, because I started at Sin City when you were DJing there. I was doing the lights, and I remember doing the lights when Kye was playing all the time, and like, you know, would have chats every now and then, but like I didn't know you. So it's really interesting to like actually have a conversation and get a little bit more in depth.
Yeah,
and
no,
hear more about everything.
and likewise, it's, you know, it's great, especially seeing what you guys are doing, and like, obviously I'm getting updates all the time, and I'm, you know, follow you on social media, and I see everything, but it's always great to, you know, to be here in the flesh and see it all.
the inner
and,
workings, yeah.
yeah, it's great.
And
100%.
like, yeah, I really enjoyed this chat too, because I think like you've honestly like opened it up like from an artist perspective in like better than how I could explain that transition between the two different worlds, and how hard it is to actually walk away.
Yeah.
To, you know, to then possibly progress your career.
It's a really interesting thing I heard was in the Chainsmokers movie, they're talking to their manager, and he's describing kind of them in the same period of time. And the best way he explained it was, it's essentially a sprint. Imagine you're in a running race, and at the end you sprint, right? It's essentially a sprint, but you can't see the finish line.
Yes.
So you don't know how long you're sprinting
So
for.
I'm sprinting right now. I'm going all out. I'm spending my money on putting on these shows and this content and getting these feature vocalists and all this stuff. The finish line, maybe it's in March when I move to America. Maybe it's in 4 years' time. Maybe it's elusive, and who knows? And it's like that. The way they explained it has always stuck with me, because it's like it's in order to make it, you have to sprint. But you don't know where the finish line is.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
me saying
very
sprint, and I'll tell you when to stop. But you don't know when I'm going to say stop.
don't know when,
and
yeah.
it could be in 30 seconds, or it could be in 5 minutes or an hour. And all you can do is sprint as hard as you can, and just know that it's getting closer, and just hope that it's closer than further away.
It's all about willpower, who's going to hold on the longest. and keep
100%.
going.
And the way they describe, I was like, it's so true. And obviously, Chainsmokers, a perfect example of people that sprint really fucking paid off for.
Yeah.
But there would be a 1,000 examples of people that we don't even know of, because they were doing that same sprint, but they went, I can't do it anymore. And sometimes maybe they couldn't. You know what I mean? Maybe financially, or just mentally or physically, like they were doing that, especially that, you know, that club tour grind, where they were like, they physically had to stop, mentally had to stop, just decided, you know what, I had fun, but I can't do this my whole life. I don't want to do this my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely like, you sprint, and you hope that
Hope it comes.
you hope it comes, but you just know, and I know within myself, I'm just not going to stop sprinting. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep going, and it's just having the faith that finish line's coming up.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that,
It's a
man.
good analogy.
Yeah, believing in
Yeah, I mean,
yourself.
I kind of just stole the whole thing off somebody else, but
Yeah, you
I've sort
repeated it
of
really
somehow
well.
managed to swindle it into my own thing.
Kai 2021.
Literally.
Yeah. I feel like that's most of our conversations, to be honest. It's just
Oh yeah,
paraphrase from
my
someone.
friends call me the curator because they reckon I just. Oh god, I hate when you like. I feel quite rude right now, but so I'll explain what I'm doing. I hate when you like haven't been on your phone a second and you make the mistake of refreshing your emails just because it's like instinctual, which is a whole
Yeah.
different conversation.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, there's everything I gotta do. But
Nice.
but
Awesome.
like it's a good thing, right? Like
Yeah.
woo,
Busy's good.
I'm sprinting, I'm sprinting, baby.
All right, non-stop grinding. That was epic, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much,
What can we
guys.
keep an eye out for? We're sort of looking towards the end of the year now.
We got a single on the way. It's called Runaway. That's my next single.
Beautiful.
I'm super excited for that one. I'm sure you'll see it spammed over all my socials.
Awesome.
Yeah, some shows coming up, which I can announce pretty soon as well.
That's it.
And then
Cool.
that's
So is it just Kye Grant on all the socials?
yeah,
or?
just Kye Grant, Kye Grant. Yeah, you'll find me.
Beautiful, man. Thanks so much for coming on Backstage with OSO.
Dope.
Really appreciate it.
It's episode 15.
We out.